YouTube, what's up? So I'm in Pacific Northwest, Snohomish, Washington. I've got a few hours with nothing to do, and I was doing just a little bit of internet research and found that the local bike shop here has a group ride, supposedly, as it looks like, that leaves at 9:05 from the bike shop. So I'm going to cruise over there, check it out, see if I can ride with those guys, and I'll take you along for the ride. Hey guys, so really excited that I got this new bike bag. I'm going to do a full review on it later, but what it did was it allowed me to carry my bike with me on a trip. I recently went to Pacific Northwest. You can see me here riding on what's called the Centennial Trail. I'm in Snohomish, Washington, and I was up there for work. You can see right here, here's the bike shop right there. 15 minutes early, not a good sign. Nobody's here yet, so wait around for a while, see if anybody shows up. Okay, so this is why it's important to know people in the local area. This is Shonda. She just happened to come by the bike shop while I was waiting for the group ride, and as it turns out, the local riders had decided that it'd be more conducive to meet at the bakery instead of the bike shop, which you can't really blame them there. So she just happened to come by and see somebody waiting and stop by and asked me what I was doing and led me down to the bakery. So we're going to ride over there. I'll start out by saying you can see here Shonda didn't waste any time getting to the bakery. I started scratching my head. I was like, whoa, if this is the ride to the bakery, I can imagine what I'm in store for. She didn't waste any time about getting there. So I grabbed her wheel and we cruised on over there to the bakery. I'll start off by saying that just staying in Snohomish was kind of a plan of mine, because what I had found just from the couple times I've been there and had ridden through this area, I guess the last time I was up there, I decided that I would rent a bike from that bike shop that you saw earlier, and that was good, but it's different when you have to rent a bike that's not your own bike. And so one of the things that I'd really struggled with last season was when I'd go on travel, I'd really kind of get off of my plan as far as my workout goes, and so I figured out, if I'm ever gonna have any consistency in training, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get my bike to the travel destination. And so I got the Orucase Bike Ninja. This was my first time to take it on travel with me, and I'll do a full review on that bike case and kind of my experience with Orucase and traveling with that bike bag. But for this video, just suffice it to say that I did get my bike there in one piece, and I was able to ride all week without missing any of my training rides. And I just got on the web and searched for the local area to see. This is Saturday, so I figured there had to be a local group that was riding, and I found the local bike shop had a ride posted, so I rode over there, and fortunately, met up with a group of riders. Really didn't have any idea what I was in store for. The ride said that there was anywhere from A, B, C, whatever different speeds that would be riding. So as it turns out, there was just, I think, 6 or 7 people who were riding. We all just rode in one big group, and not being familiar with the area, not knowing which roads to ride on, I can't emphasize enough how important it is just to get with some locals and some people that know the roads that can kind of show you around, because you just learn so much. And so here you see us coming into downtown Snohomish. Here's the bakery on the right, and we'll pull in there, and sure enough, there's the local group. So met a lot of super nice guys. It was real fun to just ride along with those guys, and I'll take you through just a little bit about what I did while I was there. and kind of show you what happened. All right, so here we are going down Main Street in Snohomish. It's a really cool town. There's only one place to stay if you're there. It's the Inn at Snohomish. The reason I chose to stay there was because it was right by that bike trail that I was familiar with, and so figured worst case scenario in the evenings I would just get on the bike trail and do my workouts. But as it turns out, there was a few cyclists there, and as you can see, just going down Main Street here, it's a really cool town. There's tons of places to eat there. I stayed for 6 or 7 days, and I pretty much hit every single place on Main Street that there was to eat. Found a lot of good places, and there's my favorite on the left, Andy's Fish House. Really good clam chowder there. So if you're in the area, yeah, be sure to hit up Andy's. Alright, so here's where the ride really takes off. Going out of town, there's to our left here is the Snohomish River, and there's kind of a road that runs on either side of the river through here, and really don't waste any time getting up to speed. Probably from here over the next, let's say 7 miles was the most intense portion of the ride. I had of course, I really didn't know what to expect, and that was fine. I met a nice guy here on my left, John. What's really cool about once you meet up with some locals, John ended up spending some time with me. He was like, "Hey, you want to ride another day? Just let me know." And so, actually, this was Saturday, and so on Sunday, John took me on just an epic ride around Lake Washington, where we went on all the bike paths. He took me down through just the entire, well, the north half of Lake Washington. Got to go across the floating bridge and all these bike trails in Seattle that otherwise, as somebody who's not familiar with the area, you'd never even know they were there. So it was really cool to get to meet up with him. Turns out he also works the same place I do, and so we kind of exchanged numbers, and like I said, the following day we went out on a great ride. It's too bad I didn't even think to take my GoPro on the second ride, so that was a little bit of a shame, because there was some really good footage that I missed on that. So here we go. We take off down this road here, and again, I don't really have any idea where I'm at, so I was a little concerned. I didn't even know if this was like a, hey, we'll drop you kind of ride, and best of luck to you. I did have my GPS, so if I got dropped, I think I could at least find my way back by the way we came. But you can see here, one of the things that we don't have in Charleston is a lot of climbs, and I've been doing a lot of training, but I still wasn't sure, just because we don't have the climbs. I wasn't sure exactly how good I'd be able to keep up with the group on the climbs. But as it turns out, even if they got ahead, there was places where they would stop and wait for you to catch up, especially at the top of the climbs. I was pleased with how I did there, climbing the hills. I thought I did okay, but then again, it really just emphasizes kind of the training plan I'm working now. I'm kind of working, I've got goals set for the year, which are power goals. I've also got weight loss goals that I'm trying to meet by certain times, and it really just emphasizes, even if you got really good power, which I think I have now, it's also important for your power to weight ratio to trim off the pounds too. And so it was just a good reminder to emphasize that in my training as well. This is JJ in front of me. He's a super nice guy. He and I were both kind of staying together on most of the climbs here, and you can see there's 2 or 3 riders in front of us that started to make a little gap. So I came around here, and at this point, again, I'm not really knowing, are they going to drop us, or are we going to get to catch back up? So John comes around and fills in. My threshold power is about 350 watts, so I'm working pretty hard at this point just to hang on. it was a little bit painful here in the beginning, but it was also good to just get out there and do some really hard work and just push myself a little bit further on some terrain that I wasn't really used to. Here, kind of in the valley at Snohomish, you can see the river there on the left. Just a really beautiful country. There's, I guess we're about 30 or so miles northeast of Seattle, and this is pretty much farm country where we're going through now. Very very beautiful. If there's a lot of cloud cover now, but one of the days when actually all the clouds cleared up, you could see all the mountains and everything on the skyline, and just spectacular views as you go through this area. There was a lot of rain through the week. Most of the days when I was doing my training rides after work, there was I'd have to do them in the rain, but it wasn't terrible. Temperatures were in the 40s and 50s, so it was manageable. And the good thing was I didn't miss a single training ride all week. So even though I was on travel, I was able to kind of keep up with my training plan. So that was good news. 2 bikes up for me, you'll see Sam. Sam was a really impressive guy because he had kind of a bike that was not very light. You could tell by looking at it. He's got fenders. He's got a metal bike, steel bike, I think it was, with luggage carriers and everything. And it didn't matter. He could fly. I was super impressed with that guy. It doesn't matter if you got a carbon bike, if you can turn watts like Sam does. He was flying, so super impressed by him, and it was a really fun road to ride on here. Like I said, there's a little bit of traffic, but again, it's Saturday morning, so the temperature's nice, and at this point, I'm just stoked because I like doing my group ride in Charleston. And here I am on the other side of the country on Saturday, and I'm getting to do a group ride with a whole new set of people, and it's just a lot of fun to do. I don't have any heart rate data. Here's where we are coming up to the end of kind of the hammer down section. I had fell off the wheel of those 2 guys, which are kind of the fastest 2 guys that on the group, just a little bit, and then we waited up here for a couple of other guys to come, and it was a lot of fun. So at this point, I think that was probably the flattest section of the ride that we would do. What's coming up here to your left is we'll take a left here at this intersection, and there's a really long climb. And so this was kind of where we test how good I could climb with these guys. Alright, so here we go. This climb was probably, I don't know, I'd say 3 miles or so. It's just a steady, probably 5 or 6% grade up the hill. And like I said, my threshold power is about 350 watts, I'd say right now. And I wasn't really, I really just wanted to stay with the group, but practically speaking, on a climb this long, it's probably not something that's going to happen. And so switch over to the shoulder here. That's another thing about riding in this area is almost every road we went on, you can see this is a big road, but there's a nice healthy shoulder, and everywhere we went, every road we rode on, there was either a dedicated bike path or there was a shoulder that we could ride on, and it was just really, really nice to be able to ride in those kind of conditions. So what you see here is I'm turning, pretty steady, 450, 500 watts up this hill. I can hold that for a couple of minutes, 3 minutes, but inevitably I'm gonna have to ease off of that a little bit. You can see there's a couple of riders that have already started to make a gap up the hill there, so definitely the climbs were not my strong suit on this ride. Alright, so you can see here the the gap starts to grow a little more. Really not a big deal. Like I said, there was kind of spaced out where, you know, the lighter riders obviously are gonna get up the hill a little quicker, and us bigger guys are gonna be a little slower. I could definitely see that, you know, if I lived in this area, I think I'd probably put more of a premium on and trying to get a little lighter. There goes John around me. John's a super strong rider. He got to know him this week. Like I said, he took me on an additional ride on Saturday and got to see some of the stuff that I'd obviously never seen before. So great ride. But yeah, this hill took me I guess about 3 or 4 miles to the top, and yeah, I was still pretty happy with the level of power that I was able to sustain up this climb. I think probably average about 350 watts all the way to the top, and once I got to the top, the group just kind of there's a left turn once you get up to the top. There's a red light, and they all just kind of waited up there for the rest of us to make it to the top, and then we got to do a little downhill rolling after that. Okay, so finally made it to the top of the hill, and now we kind of cruised around, and we're circling around this body of water on your right. This is Lake Stevens, which is just about 15 or 20 miles north of Snohomish. And what we do here is and this is we just went down a big hill. This is JJ in front of me, and I kind of hated to make him pull so much, but I just really didn't have any idea where we were going. So I would do some pulls when possible. I was trying to keep the lens clean, because if you don't have fenders, which I didn't have fenders, most of the roads are always wet up there, and you quickly figure out why all the cyclists have fenders on their bikes, because it's really nice if you're following behind somebody who has fender. But you see JJ doesn't have fender, neither did I, so there's always kind of water slinging up on you and on the camera. So I was just trying to keep it clean, but just a really beautiful area here with all the houses on the water, and just seeing the lake and different kinds of trees and everything that you get up there is pretty nice. And it was a good ride. They the other guys are probably just, I don't know, maybe a quarter mile up the road here. We had just went down a big descent, and the one thing was not knowing the turns and what was around the descents. I was on the brakes a little bit as we went through those, because you just don't know and what's coming next, and so I didn't want to be surprised. Here we take a right, and you can see that there's the rest of the group up there, and they're going to pull over here on the side of the road just to again let us all regroup and do it again. Alright, so here we are, we regroup and ate a Cliff Bar, which was much needed at that point. Then we get back on this trail here. This is the again, this is the Centennial Trail. We're going south on it now, but if you go north out of Snohomish on this trail, you can ride something like 30 or so miles north on this. Never get off the trail all the way up to there's a little barn, and you do a loop and you can come back. So you can basically do 60 miles pretty easily and never get off this trail. And some of the most breathtaking scenery that I've ever seen along the way, as you start to see all the mountains and all that stuff. So just beautiful. And then the other part of it is most of the time it's in the rain, and if it's raining, there's probably not a lot of people on the trail in the first place. So that's the only downside to being on the trail, is a lot of times, like you see there, you have a lot of people that are walking and running, and you just kind of have to work with them. So if you're doing intervals, it can be a little tricky. I hadn't posted a lot or at all this year. I'm going to do a couple of videos on just kind of how I've been preparing for the upcoming race season. I do have a couple of races already scheduled that I plan on doing, and maybe I was even thinking of doing a video of how I'm preparing for that, what kind of training I'm doing. I've started using Training Peaks, and kind of developed a training plan for the year, and I've been executing that for a couple of months now, and that was another reason why, going on travel, I don't really just want to abandon training, and so I was really fortunate to be able to take the bike along. And then I was actually supposed to have to work over the weekend, and as soon as I got there, they ended up canceling the weekend work, so I kind of had all weekend just to ride the bike, and worked out really nicely. So that was good. So I'll try to put up a couple of videos as we go forward. Definitely look out for the race videos. Those will be starting in April. If you've not subscribed to my channel, by all means be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, so you know that when I posted a video, you'll be able to catch those. Hopefully I'll be able to do a little better this year based on the experience that I had from last year, and we'll kind of see how that goes. So yeah, I'll be sure to post those. Just like I said, let me know if you have any questions. If you're going to be up in this area, I can definitely point you to where to go, where to stay, where to find some of these bike routes. If you see anything here you're interested in, like I said, I'd be glad to help you. Just let me know there in the comment section if you have any questions about this ride, or anything else you might be wondering about as far as riding in the Puget Sound area.